The city of Santa Barbara and its partners assisting our homeless population are ramping up a well-coordinated effort to help those most in need of housing and services. The first ever $2 million State of California HEAP grant, or Homeless Emergency Aid Program, brings together a wide range of agencies to help the most vulnerable homeless and also the merchants who are trying to do business in the downtown.
The focus is going to be more street outreach with medical practitioner that will go out so that there's somebody there that can address any kind of issues that are critical for a homeless individual, as well as placement into either emergency shelter beds or hopefully in the long term, maybe a permanent housing situation.
Much of the street-level outreach with the homeless will be made by workers from a Southern California organization known as CityNet.
To sort of focus on the top 50 most vulnerable from State Street and actually throughout the city, to sort of bring to bear the resources of all these collective organizations to help those and assist those homeless neighbors.
The focus will be on the chronically homeless, veterans, seniors, people with health issues, including mental disabilities.
A lot of people, they have multiple disabilities. They have a mental illness, they have a physical disability, they've been evicted for some reason, and once they lost their housing, it was impossible for them to crawl out of that hole to get back into housing. And so people who have lived in Santa Barbara their whole lives, who have no desire to leave, can't find housing because it's not affordable for them at all. And so people who were homeless for what they thought was going to be a really brief stint turned into 20 years.
United Way's Home for Good, which focuses its efforts on the State Street corridor, recently helped more than a dozen homeless find housing and 13 others reunified with family in the last 6 months. Jeff Schaefer says it comes down to building trust.
But for me, it's all about relationships, whether you talk about relationships with people on the streets or relationships amongst all the providers. If there's trust in all those areas, your possibilities at success are much, much higher.
The $2 million grant is designed to take that trust and relationship building with the homeless to another level by putting an extra 4 CityNet workers on the street.
When you really do sort of kind of take a large, challenging societal challenge and sort of focus it down on a couple key individuals and sort of bring to bear all the resources on a relatively small population, we have seen the significant results. We've seen people who have been homeless for decades, literally, sort of finally get to that place where, because of this collaboration, they were able to get housed and actually stay housed.
Cottage Health Systems is part of the collaboration, providing funding for 5 beds at the Path Shelter on Cacique Street, and a nurse practitioner working in the trenches to help the homeless that have physical and mental disabilities. And the city received a tobacco enforcement grant to put more police officers on the street for smoking enforcement and other nuisance violations.
Part of our job as police department is to provide a presence in the downtown area where people feel safe to go shop, to hang out downtown, and business owners have the opportunity to succeed as a business. So we're involved in helping people who aren't committing criminal violations but just need an opportunity to get off the street.
Police officers will collaborate with CityNet and other outreach workers to find permanent placement for the most chronic homeless, many of whom you may find in a storefront doorway or wandering State Street. This upgraded effort is welcome news for a business community trying hard to attract and retain customers.
Having that presence continually keeps down the problems. It also helps those officers address if there's any mental health issues or safety issues in the moment. So knowing that they're there all the time is really key toward these businesses.
Local business Logic Monitor has established a fund of $5,000 for reunification.
And the downtown organization hosts that fund. So anytime that we find somebody on state who has a better, healthy place to go, like a family member that would take them back, we have instant funds.
It's estimated there are over 800 homeless in Santa Barbara, and well over 100 of those are in the downtown corridor. Many shy away from services and reunification or help of any kind. But those who work closely with this segment of the population believe this new, more collaborative approach will pay off.
And so a lot of the people that we work with will not listen to the fact that we're going to offer them services for the first 20 times that we offer it. And then once I've kind of built a relationship with them, once I've talked to them every day for 2 months, then finally they'll say, you know what, actually I do really want to apply for housing. I just didn't think it was a possibility at this point.
The reality is it's going to take truly a collaborative posture and a collaborative effort to really get all the right resources focused. So we're better together, that's just the reality.